Good evening. I hope everyone's well this evening. So our opening statement is, you ready? I know it's because I know this is, you're not going to agree with this statement at all. And I may even get a few angry comments. No, I won't. No, you can't make any. But you can ask me about it. But here's our opening statement. Ready? Your job or the government is not your sole provider. Your job or the government is not your sole provider. I know that's a hard pill to swallow for some, but it is the truth. And we're going to talk about tonight on Friday's Hope, a place where we share hope for everyone, everywhere, in every situation. And I'm Sue Barnhart. I'm one of the ministers at the Worship Center here in Northern Illinois. So why did I say that? Why do I say that? That's your job, the government, you are not your sole provider. First of all, one of the reasons I'm bringing this up is there's been a lot of talk, a lot of news, a lot of rumors, a lot of misinformation about what is being taken away, what isn't being taken away, if we're going to have this money, if we're not going to have that money, what job is going to be taken away, what company is going to close, other companies are going to close, who's going to lose their job. So many things that can cause so much struggle and depression. So many things that can cause anxiety because we feel like we are the sole provider. We feel like our job in the government is our sole provider for life. And that's not true. And I'm here to tell you about it because I've lived life. I've lived this life. There's so much information out there. And many people are out of jobs all of a sudden. Or many businesses have shut their doors or are planning to shut their doors. Many other businesses have suggested that their prices are going to go up. And we've already seen that. Also, we've heard the stock market is up and down, not very steady. That scares some people. I know a gentleman years ago when we went through the recession, some of y'all are too young to remember that, but when we went through the recession and the stock market plummeted, it caused him so much grief he took his own life. He had children and a wife. But that money that he lost threw him into a loop and he took his own life. And I want to stop that. That's why I'm on here, to stop that thinking. That's why I'm on here, to share with you that that doesn't have to be a big deal. Yes, I know we lose a large amount of money. Yes, I know it's a shock. Yes, I know that you feel loss. Yes, I know you feel scared or nervous or worried. I get it. I have lived all of it. All of it. So I started thinking, as we hear or read or see this happen, it can cause some of us great concern. And rightly so, because this kind of talk or news or happenings can really, really make us nervous and cause some people some serious mental health problems. The National Institute of Health stated that all of these things, especially a loss of job, can cause major depression or increased depression. I know a lot of people get their whole identity from their job. That's not who you are. You're a child of God. You're an amazing man or woman of God. You're not that job. Some people get depressed because they feel like they don't have a worth anymore. They don't have a reason to do and live. It's a job, guys. That's all it is. Anxiety also increases. Stress and worry about our finances can lead to more mental health issues. You know, this whole time we're in right now, where everything is up and down, and we don't know what the news broadcast is going to bring us next. I watched something a while ago, just real quickly, nothing big deal. I didn't even listen to the whole thing, but it was something about a letter to somebody about something to do something for another country, and how it's not really helping and things like that. And I just thought those people in that country that are enduring war, God bless them. They just want this stuff to stop, you know? And that's another thing, that we can get so concerned about the way our life is going time and again, whether it be war, finances, family. Mainly I'm talking about money tonight, finances, because that seems to really rattle people's cage when we talk about money, good or bad. And see, it's going to sound funny, I'm not that concerned about money, but I'll explain why in a little bit. I just put out $800 to fix my car. I live on Social Security. Ask me how I did that. That's an amazing thing. And it was cash. That's an amazing thing. Living on Social Security and be able to do that, yeah, that's God. And I also got a tune-up, and next I'm going to get a couple tires. I already got the money for that. How does that happen when you're living on Social Security? Well, I'm going to share some things. See, we're not we're not the sole provider for ourselves and our family. We're not. Neither is that job. Neither is the government. God is our sole provider. And I'll show you how he makes way where there seems to be no way. Time and again. Time and again. And why did I make that initial statement? Because I have lived through many hard times financially. And I soon found out that my provider is God, who comes through every single time, every situation, good, bad, or indifferent. Some of the situation I went through included problems with our finances. My husband struggled with finances. We filed bankruptcy 2 times and lost everything. But I still had a roof over my head. I was divorced in my 50s and became a single mother in my 50s. You ever try and get back in the job market in your 50s? Come on now. I had been working, but it had been all sorts of home jobs like cleaning and daycare and different teaching, tutoring. I was a tutor for many years. I did all sorts of things at home. I hadn't been in the job market for a very long time. Here I'm a divorced 50-year-old single mother looking for a job in the workforce. Those are just a few of the things I've had to deal with. And I want to tell you, every time, beyond a shadow of a doubt, God supplied all our needs every time. I always had a roof over my head. I always had food and everything I and my granddaughter needed. When I became a single mother, I lived on $80 a week. That's it, $80 a week. But my granddaughter never went without anything. I never went without anything. We had a place to live. One of my friends let me live with her for a while. There's so many ways God supplies our need. See, God makes a promise that he's going to supply all our needs, and he does. When I became a single mother living on $80 a week, time and again, God gave me, hear this, the opportunity to be able to supply for myself and my granddaughter. Time and again, he brought people in my life that helped me. I had a car. She had all she needed for school. She was in several programs in school. She had all the things she wanted. Imagine being 50, single mother with a 10 or 11-year-old living on $80 a week. So many opportunities God laid before me. And I was able to raise that child and get jobs that gave even more money. It wasn't just happenstance that those doors opened up for me. I wasn't even sure I could get a job in my 50s. Hello. You know they aren't looking for 50-year-old women. They're looking for young girls. But I got hired. So when God says he's going to supply all my needs, he's going to take care of me, and I've lived it. I've lived it time and again. He supplies, and here's why I say the government and the job and everything else is not your sole provider. God supplies through the government. One of the opportunities he gave me is the link card, an apartment that was subsidized, a car from my ex-husband who didn't want it anymore, so they just gave it to me, and I just started making a few payments on it. So many programs within the school that helped my granddaughter. So see, God opens those doors of opportunity through those programs. I didn't know anything about this stuff. I hadn't, first of all, I hadn't had a child in school since, well, let me put it this way. Most of the mothers of children were children that I had in my home when my children were young. So we're talking years now. I didn't know those were there. And God said, here, look into this. Or somebody came out and said, have you tried this? Or somebody mentioned, or their ad came up on my phone, or whatever. God opens the doors, but here's the question. I want you to look me straight in the eye. Here's the question. Are you willing to take that opportunity? Sometimes those opportunities aren't things that we want to take. Maybe they're beneath us. Maybe there's something we don't want to do. Maybe there's something that we don't think is something that we should have to do. Look, y'all, you know the joke. People on the top of the roof drowning, and God said, well, I sent a fire truck, a boat, and a helicopter. Why didn't you take the opportunity? God opens doors to opportunity time and again. My church family helped me. My pastor and his wife helped me with my granddaughter because she needed to get to school, and I was working. 3 o'clock in the morning I had to go to work. So they would take her overnight, and her and their granddaughter would get on the bus early in the morning together, and they go together at the same school at that time. Now they're grown and they have babies of their own. Isn't that crazy or what? And this collar is bugging me. And then when she got off work, I was at the church office doing some things. So she'd walk from the school that she got off the bus at to the church office. It all worked out. God supplied the need time and again. Time and again. Time and again, he took care of us. And he will do that for you if you're willing to allow those opportunities God gives us. Look for him. Pray about him. Ask him. Ask him what he wants you to do. God will show up. Another time is, and if the government fails, he has other ways to take care of us. Here's one. I was very pregnant with our first child. My husband went to work, and the building had burnt to the ground. No insurance, no unemployment, nothing. Gone overnight. You want to know how God supplied? My husband got a job digging ditches in a pecan field. Do you think he wanted to dig ditches in a pecan field in the hot New Mexico weather? Nope. But you know what? God opened that up for him, and he went out and did it because he had to take care of me and his almost new baby. It was hard work. It was sweaty. He was dead tired when he came home, but we never went without anything. And another job opened up, and we had this baby who is now 46 years old. He opens up opportunities time and again. Are we willing to take those opportunities? Maybe it's God reaching out saying, here's a way to get through this. Maybe sometimes 2 or 3 people tell you the same thing. And try it if it's working for them. So many opportunities. So that's why I say it isn't the government. It isn't your job. It isn't even you. It's God directing and giving and taking care of us, taking care of us. He says so in his scriptures, time and again. He says so in his scriptures. So I'm going to give you some scriptures to meditate on. I mean, it's a bit better to meditate on promises than the economy or the health issues or the job or whatever, isn't it? Isn't it better to meditate on something that's promising than all the bad news? And then in the end, I'm going to give you 2 tips that I know work for just about everybody on finances. And you don't have to have, it doesn't matter whether you're making $5 or $5 million. So here's the scriptures, and I'll put these in the comments so you can copy them. First of all, 1 Peter 5:7. Cast all your anxieties on him because he cares for you. Here's an example of that. God, I don't know if I'm going to get my Social Security check next month. Would you help me with that? I'm really scared. That's how you cast that anxiety. God, I don't know if I have enough money to take care of this electric bill. How many of y'all got the electric bill this month? I'm going to give that to you. And you know why? Because he cares for you. He knows you need electricity. He knows you need that money. He's going to take care of it. He's going to take care of us. Philippians 4:19, and my God will supply every need of yours according to his riches and glory in Christ Jesus. Not according to what I think, okay? Filing bankruptcy wasn't what I thought should be the way of supplying our need, but we didn't have the money to take care of any of that stuff. So that's what we had to do so we could keep the things we needed. I didn't think my husband then what needed to be out digging pecan ditches. But that's what God used to supply our need. He didn't stay there, but he was able to do it. Look, y'all, God will supply every need of yours. Does digging pecan ditches kind of measure up to his riches? It did then when you don't have any money, any job, and you got a baby coming. That was his riches in the first place. In glory in Christ Jesus. God gave him the ability to go out and do that. If y'all know anything about Las Cruces, New Mexico, you know it's hot. It's never cool there. You're out there digging ditches, let me tell you how hot it is. With a shovel, guys. Not with a crane, not with a backhoe. Nope. shoveling. But he supplied. And he didn't have to stay there long. Here's another verse. James 4:8. Draw near to God and he will draw near to you. Have you just thought about drawing near to God, saying, God, I want to be closer to you. God, I want to live for you. God, I want a relationship with you. Show me how that works. Show me what I need to do. God, I want to live for you. When we draw near to him, he's going to draw near to us. It's kind of like when you get close to somebody, another person, say it's your spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, all of a sudden they're snuggling back to you. And it increases your relationship. It helps your relationship. So when you draw near to God, when you get closer to God, he's going to get closer to you. Ask him to forgive you. Ask Jesus into your heart. Draw near to him. I have said these things to you, John 16:33, that you may have peace. You may have peace. In this world, you're going to have tribulation. Yep. In this earth, you're going to have tribulation. Have you watched the news? Talk about tribulation. Don't watch the news very long. Take heart. I've overcome the world, is what Jesus said. See, I can walk in peace through this because I know Jesus is already working on it. He's already taken care. I don't care what the news broadcasters said. I don't care who anybody says that's in government or in top power and authority, because I know God's power and authority is greater. It's greater. It always has been. And yes, I know people go through struggles and problems. I get that. I did too, time and again. I know there's heartbreak out there. I know there's struggles. I'm not trying to paint you a sky in the pie blue picture. I know there's struggles. I've lived through them. But I also know you can get through them with Christ. You can get through them with God, who loves you. You can get through them time and again. I'm not saying you're not going to ever have a problem. I am going to say God loves you and he's going to help you through it. He's going to help you walk through it. You don't have to be fearful. You know, I was listening to a radio station the other day, a Christian radio station in my car, and they have a prayer line. You can call in and get prayers, etc. And you know what the most frequent prayer requests they have? Help my fear. The most highest prayer request is about fear, afraid, worried. It's common. Doesn't have to be. When we know that God loves us and he's going to take care of us. Isaiah 41:10, I had this memorized when I was going through a really difficult time. Fear not. Oops, that said don't fear. Is that what that just said? Fear not, for I am with you. That's God, for he's with you. Do not be dismayed. That's another word for sad, or maybe your hope is gone, or maybe you're just gotten disappointed. Don't be dismayed, for I am your God. Do you know he's your God? He is your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. Hello. He's going to strengthen you to get through this mess. He's going to hold you up to get through this mess. His strength and his holding is stronger than anything we can ever even accomplish on our own. We may think we're strong, but it's like a feather when it comes next to God's. And he says, I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. And I know I've shared before that his right hand means strength and power and truth. So the right hand, it was important when they wrote the scripture. God will always supply for us one way or the other. Always. It doesn't matter. He will always supply. It doesn't matter what is or isn't happening in this world. Yes, it's difficult. I get that. Yes, you don't know what you're going to do now. Pray. Yes, the economy is a bit rough right now, and there's a lot of things happening we're not sure is what's going to happen. We get that. I get all that. But God's going to supply even through the difficult situations, even through the loss of job, the cutting of the government agencies, the higher prices, everything. There's something. I have a couple of 3 news videos I watch that are truthful. That's another thing, by the way. Please, if you need to get a hold of your news, if you need to find out what's going on, would you find some reliable sources? Please. There is so much misinformation out there, so much. It's only going to scare you worse. Please make sure you're on a reliable source, a reliable program, a reliable newspaper, whatever. and stick with that one. There is a multitude of information, and most of it's wrong. Most of it's wrong. I have this one lady who talks about the state of the federal government programs like Link or Social Security, other things like that. And she's pretty accurate. Oh, and this is another thing. A lot of these programs love to use those headlines that will cause you to click on it because it's, oh, what's this about? What's this? Ooh, what's going to happen? And I did that. Don't be me. But I was looking for something in my defense specifically because I kept hearing other people say these things that I knew were not true. So the headline said, Social Security changes are coming. You have to deal with this before March 31st. So I got on it and I listened to her 30-minute spiel. And like I said, most of the time she's pretty good. You know what it was? You know what the big change was? Are you ready? That you can't verify your identification by phone after March 31st. That's it. You will have to do it online or at a Social Security office. And we all know some of the Social Security offices are closing. My first thought, there's other Social Security offices. My second thought, yes, I know there's some people who are not savvy online. There's other people that are, and they can get their help. The kids, the grandkids, good grief, my grandkids and almost my great-grandkids can outdo me on the internet. But her thing was, you have to do this, you have to do this. Oh, they're going to change it. Causing that fear and that panic in these older people, especially, good gravy. So you can't verify your identification over the phone anymore. Okay, there's a million other ways to do it. God still opens doors for you to take care of what you need to take care of. Yes, I know a lot of people are not literate online, but there's always another way. Always. I worked with a lot of the older people, as you know. I took care of them, as you know. And there's many times I picked up my own phone to get online for them. They have homemakers come in and take care of them. There's the senior center. There's the library. There's even classes at the college. There's so many ways to take care of things. Don't fall into that trap of panic by some headline. Make sure that headline is from a reputable source and then read the whole article or listen to the whole video, because somewhere in all of that stuff is a piece of the truth. And it usually isn't as big of a struggle or a big of a problem as they're making it, time and again, I promise you. Now, I said I was going to share two ways. First of all, I want to go back to this other. God will always supply for us one way or the other because we are His children and He loves us. Don't we supply for our own children? Haven't we supplied for our own children? If we haven't had children, haven't we supplied for our spouses or our family or our clients or our patients or our people that come through our business? Haven't we taken care of them? If we've taken care of others, what makes us think God isn't going to take care of us just because life goes wonky? That doesn't mean He isn't taking care of us. That means life goes wonky, and He's going to get us through it. Time and again. Time and again. So He supplies all our needs through many ways. Now, this is my own personal advice. Not advice, but opinion, and I'm not an expert. I'm just saying what I've seen work for me to improve our finances. I just told you I was able to pay off in cash an over $800 repair bill, and I'm about ready to buy 2 new tires, and that's going to cost me about $200 or $300. How does that happen living on Social Security? Tip number 1, take 10% off the top of any money you get and give it back to God through your local church. Oops, I think I just heard everybody click off. Let me say it again. Take 10% off the top of any money you get. I don't care what you get. And give it back to God through your local Jesus believing church. I even hear some people scoffing about this. I'm living proof. You've heard some of the finances. You've heard how God supplied. I've always had a way to take care of things. I've always had money for things I needed or had a way to supply. Time and again. Did I lose things when we went through bankruptcy? Yep. But did I still have things? Yeah. Maybe not everything I had, but I had a roof over my head. I had food. I had a place to have my baby. I had things for my baby. Time and again. But I gave 10% back to God. Even when my husband and I didn't agree about this, I still gave back to God through my grocery money. I am living proof that in my 40 plus years, I've always had money for things I needed or had a supply. Like I said, even when my husband and I didn't agree on this, I took 10% of my grocery money and gave it back to God. Guess what? We had more than enough groceries. Do you see me starving at this point? No. And I don't get any extra help for my groceries. Nope, it's off my income. He's the one who gave us the money through my husband's job. I can't even begin to tell you how many opportunities he had given him. Don't believe me? Okay, here's some scriptures. God even says, test me. You ready? Malachi 3:10. Now, I want you to understand that giving to God is giving in faith, saying, I believe what you're saying. Not, okay, here, give, and I want give back. And I also want to tell you that the way he gives back is not just pouring money out of heaven. He gives back through giving us opportunities. He gives back through supplying the need through some other way. He gives back by keeping us safe. He gives back by showing us what to do. There are a million ways that God gives back. And here's Malachi 3:10. Bring all the tithes, that's another word for 10%, into the storehouse, so there will be enough food in my temple. In other words, enough money to take care of his church. If you do, says the Lord of Heaven's army, I will open the windows of heaven for you, and I will pour out a blessing so great you won't have enough room to take it in. Here's the last 5-6 words. Try it. Put me to the test. That's God saying that. Not me, that's God. Look up Malachi 3:10 for yourself in the Bible. Old Testament for those you don't know. He's saying go ahead and test him. I will tell you what, every time I get any kind of money, I don't care, 10% goes back to God because I love him so much and because he has taken such great care of me. Time and again. Even on my good days. Even on the days when I have nothing bad happening or life is pretty peaceful, he takes such great care of me, and he will that, you too. Luke 6:38. Give and it will be given to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be put into your bosom. For with the same measure that you use, the same measure that you give, the same measure the way you give. In other words, if you give 10 cents, you're only going to get about 10 cents worth of help back. The same measure that you give, and it's an emotional thing too. God, I'm going to give this because that's what I'm supposed to. No. You give back because you're grateful. You give back because you know he's going to help you. For the same measure that you use, it will be measured back to you. His promise. You can't outgive him. I'm telling you. I walked into this apartment with 2 beds and a laptop and a few dishes. Now I got so much stuff, I had to get rid of a bunch of stuff. And I didn't pay hardly anything for any of it. People gave me things time and again. I have a beautiful queen-size bed. My granddaughter, when she lived with me, had a beautiful room all to herself, everything she wanted. Oh, maybe not everything, because she was a teenager, and I'm not going to do that. But I'm not going to give her everything, but I gave her quite a bit. We used to go shopping. Once or twice a year, I'd take her to a mall when they were up and running, and I'd let her go to just about any store and let her shop whatever she wanted. I'd put a limit on it, obviously. That's obvious. But we used to go shopping. I'd let her get whatever she wanted. Test him. Give. Watch what he does. Gonna take time. Doesn't happen overnight. But I can guarantee you that is the best way for you to get rid of your anxiety and get help from God is to give. The next tip I have is take 10% of every check after your tithe or every money you get and save it. Start now. It could be 5 cents out of $5 or $5,000 out of 5 million. And keep it up. And you always have money. You always have a savings. It's simple. Yes, I know you always say I don't have enough money for bills. Well, most of us don't. But when we start tithing, somehow that bill gets taken care of. I can remember one winter I was here and I didn't qualify for any help for paying the electric bill. My home is heated and everything else all electric. And I was panicking a little. Yes, I do panic still. And so I called him up saying, oh, I'll do this, I'll do that. And she goes, ma'am, we have a payment program you can use. What? Really? And so I got on this payment program, and this, I think it was $200 ComEd bill got taken care of in a short amount of time. There's ways. He gives them to us time and again. But first, give back to him. Secondly, take 10% out of your money you get and save it. Start now. It could be 5 cents or $5. It can be 5,000 out of 5 million. But keep it up, and you will always have money. So 10% back to God, 10% back to you, faithfully, and finances will be amazing. Other tips, and I'm sure you've heard these, but I'm going to give them to you because sometimes I don't like some of the stuff you hear on some of these talk shows. Shop at lower price stores. I love Aldi's. But I will tell you, Aldi's is not always lower than, say, another store. So make sure you know your prices. We have amazing resale shops here. I bought 2 bags of clothes because I'm losing weight for $11. 2 bags for $11, and they were brand new. Brand new clothes. Shop around for deal on appliances or cars, and dicker a little bit with the price. They want your money, so they'll work with you. I know when I got my Nissan in 2019, they wanted to sell it to me for such and such. I said, hold on. The internet said it was such and such. And he said, just a minute. He went back and said, you know what? You're right. And I saved about $5,000 on that car. Do your research, people. Just because it's on TV and you hear it and it sounds good does not mean that it is. Do your research. Shop around. Ask a trusted friend or advisor. Check their lifestyle out. If they're doing well, maybe you should follow some of their advice. Pray about it, first of all. Should I do this? Shouldn't I do this? And when should I do this? Like I said, I have to get 2 new tires on my car because my tires are getting pretty bad. So I want to know when I should go up there. I'm kind of looking at the sales, kind of looking at a couple different places. Because the one place I was suggested, the brand that was suggested to me doesn't fit my car. Bummer. So I have to do some other shopping around. But I will find what I need, and I will find it at a decent price. I say all this to say if you feel frustrated about today's economy, worried about your finances, worried about what's going on in the role of our economy, the stock market, the jobs, the programs. If you feel like hurting yourself or others, please reach out for help. The help you reach out for many times is free. You know, the 988 suicide hotline is free. Many of the online therapies have a payment program where they'll take insurance. Talk to your pastor, many times that's free. Talk to your doctor, police, talk to somebody. You don't need to hurt yourself or others. You really don't. It isn't a major issue. It feels like it, absolutely. It feels like it, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. I missed some of the comments up here. Whoa, there's a lot of them. I'll get back to you, Lisa, okay? Anyway, it doesn't have to be and concentrate on something else besides the finances. Come on, guys. There's more than other things to concentrate on. Concentrate on those scriptures. I'll put them in the comments down here for you. There's so many other ways to deal with life that you don't have to deal with life by being depressed. Get some help. Grab a hold of some help. You know, admitting it is tough, and I know that, but you can even ask God to help you admit it. I love y'all. I'm so grateful that you joined me. And I encourage you to just continue to pursue God in all these things. You have an amazing night. God bless you.